First off, I want to say I appreciate all the support on college football programs that went extinct part 1, and this is going to be part 2. And I'm going to say this, I only did about 4 or 5 teams on the first part. I'm going to try to do about 6, 7, or maybe even 8 teams on this part. And if this video gets enough support, I'll do a part 3. Also, as the college football season is around the corner, I'll be doing videos when the season starts almost every week. So subscribe and click the notification bell so you don't miss a video. Let's start off with Jacksonville University, who was the last university to end the college football program. The Jacksonville Dolphins football program was located in Jacksonville, Florida, where they lasted 21 years, starting in 1998 and ending in 2019. Now, to start out, just like many college football programs that are new, they will struggle. In the first 3 seasons, they will win 4 games and have 3 win seasons back to back. In 2001, the Dolphins finally had their first successful season as they moved from independent to the Pioneer Conference, where they went 6-5. They also went 3-0 in conference play, but after that, they started to struggle once again. This led to the firing of their first head coach, Steve Gilbert, and to the hiring of their second head coach, Kerwin Bell. Bell's first 2 seasons weren't that successful, as he combined for just 7 wins, but in his third season, he led the Dolphins to a 9-win season. They went 7-1 conference play, and they even made it to the Gridiron Classic, where they lost to Albany 28-0. Just 2 seasons later, we saw Bell lead Jacksonville to their best season in program history. The Dolphins would go 10-1, they went undefeated in conference play, but I didn't see that they made an FCS bowl game. And after this, they had a couple more successful seasons. But Bell will be released as the head coach in 2015 after some differences, as the program wanted to continue its non-scholarship football program, while Bell wanted to give out scholarships. After that, they would hire Ian Shields, who was there for 4 seasons, from 2016 all the way up to 2019 when Jacksonville ended their football program. Jacksonville University will end their football program due to the football program being a financial burden, as they outweighed the contributions to the university. So in their history, they had a 10-win season, they won 2 conference championships, and reached a bowl game. But I highly doubt that they'll bring their football program back at any time in the near future. A couple people in the comment section of the last video said I should mention the Cal State Fullerton Titans, whose football program lasted for 22 years. It was started in 1969, but the first season would be in 1970, and it would last until 1992. And unlike some new college football programs, they had major success early on, as in their first game against Cal Poly, they won 31-0. And under Richard Curry in their team's first season, they went 6-4 with 1 tie. In 71, they were gearing up to play all their games at Anaheim Stadium, except for 1 game where they would play at the Coliseum. That game would be against Grambling State, which will have 60,000 people watching in the stadium. Not everything went well for the Titans that season though, as just 2 weeks before that Grambling game, they had 3 assistant coaches die due to a plane crash. Despite this, they still won 6 games in the regular season, and they made it to the Mercy Bowl in 1971, where they beat Fresno State 17-14. After that, they decided to hire Pete Yoder, who became the second head coach of Cal State Fullerton, and he had 2 successful seasons back-to-back, leading them to 7 wins. After those back-to-back 7-win seasons, it was all downhill from there. They would fire Yoder in 1974, then they would hire Jim Coletto, who would then be fired in 1979, and then they would hire Gene Murphy, who would bring success back to the program. It did take a while, but Murphy led them to another 7-win season in 1983. And at the end of the season, they were invited to the California Bowl, where they lost to Northern Illinois 13-20. In 84, we saw Cal State Fullerton reach their height as a college football program under Gene Murphy, as they went 12-0, but sadly, after that, they would never see that much success again. The Titans would have just 3 more winning seasons in their program history, and in 1992, they were in their football program. The plan was just to suspend the program for 1 season, but they decided to just cut the football program entirely due to the budget. So in just 22 years, they won 2 conference championships, went to 2 bowl games, and had multiple people selected in the NFL draft. We saw attempts to bring back the Cal State Fullerton football program in 1995, 2007, and 2008, but of course none of those attempts were successful. The Nebraska Omaha Mavericks football program lasted almost an entire century, as their first season was in 1911 and they ended in 2010. The Mavericks were a Division II football program where they won 440 football games and only lost 382 football games. They have a total of 2 bowl wins or 1 bowl loss, and they won 13 conference titles. They made the Division II playoffs a total of 10 different times, where they have a record of 2-10. And in 2016, we saw their quarterback Marlon Briscoe get inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame. In March of 2011, the University of Nebraska Omaha would announce that they're cutting their football program. This was to save money, as their athletics was looking to move up from Division II to Division I. And maybe with the state of Nebraska caring so much about football, they'll bring the football program back, but I don't know when they'll be. The Santa Clara Broncos football program lasted almost a decade as well, going from 1896 all the way to 1992. Now from 1896 to 1907, the school was actually known as the SCU 11s. Then from 1908 to 1918, the football program would then go on a hiatus. In 1919, they would come back and be named the Missionaries, and then in 1923, they would finally be named the Broncos. Now, Santa Clara weirdly won a couple of major bowl games in the 1930s. In 1937, they won the Sugar Bowl. In 1938, they won the Sugar Bowl. And even in 1950, they won the Orange Bowl. In 1973, we saw them move down to Division II from Division I, where they were independent. Then in 82, we saw them move from Division II independent to the Western Football Conference. While in the WFC, they won 2 conference titles, one time in 83 and another time in 85. Almost forgot to mention, we also saw them make the Division II playoffs in 1980, where they won 1 game and then lost another game. In 1992, they would move to the independent again in Division II, but of course after that, nothing else happened because the program disbanded. When the football program ended, they had 352 wins and 244 losses. They also had a couple rivalries, one with St. Mary's, which was known as the Little Big Game, and another one with San Francisco. They had a couple of players and head coaches selected to the College Football Hall of Fame. They even had Tom Fears be selected to the NFL Hall of Fame. Now, the football program was discontinued due to new NCAA regulations in 1992 that require all sports to be played at the same level. And all of Santa Clara sports programs were Division I, except for the Division II football program, and they did not want to move up to Division I 2A. Now, I couldn't find if there has been any discussion on bringing the football program back, but maybe they do sometime in the future, but I don't think they will. The St. Mary Gales is more known for the basketball program, but at one point they did have a solid football program. The Gales football team lasted for 111 years, from 1892 to 2003. It wasn't until 1915 where they would play every year, and in 1920 they suffered one of their worst losses in college football history. They lost to Cal 127-0, and they gave up 18 total touchdowns. St. Mary's football program was really in a bad place until they hired Slip Mulligan, who won 4 consecutive conference championships from 1925 to 1928. In 1927, they were the best school on the West Coast as they defeated USC, UCLA, Cal, Stanford, and they went on to play in the Rose Bowl. They went undefeated in 1926 and 1929, and despite the college enrollment only being 500, they became a football powerhouse. In 1930, they got their most famous win in school history as they beat Fordham in front of 65,000 people, and that Fordham team was on a 16-game win streak. Also in the 1930s, they had a couple chances to win a national title. One time in 1930 where they lost the season opener, and another time in 1934 where they were upset by Nevada. In the 1940s, we saw them play in the Sugar Bowl in 46, and then in 47, they played in the Oil Bowl. Despite their success, in 1950, their football program was dropped, but it will revive as a club sport. They will return to varsity status in 1970 as a Division III team, and then they'll move up to Division II in 1980. In 1993, they will move up to Division I 2A, where they were in no conference as they were independent. In 1998, we saw them be awarded with 14 football scholarships with a total of $800,000. However, just 6 years later, on March 3rd, 2004, St. Mary's would announce that they would no longer have their football program due to budgeting reasons. The announcement came just a week after they declared their intent to join the Great West Football Conference. After that, St. Mary's became the 17th California university to drop their football program since 1951. There was talks of bringing it back the year after, but nothing transpired, and I don't know if they will anymore. But I would love for them to bring it back and continue their rivalry with Oregon as they lead that rivalry with 7 wins and just 3 losses. Next, you can see most of these college football programs that went extinct are probably going to stay extinct. But let me know what teams y'all want in part 3, and thank y'all for all the support. Until next time, I'm out. Peace.